Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply. This video is to bring you a closer look at the Ultra hardware number 43807. This is a cam lock is what it is, and this cam lock, I have one removed from its packaging. I'm going to take you through all of the pieces. This is what it looks like when it's packaged. This is what they call a zinc disc tumbler lock. Zinc, it's going to be a zinc finish, zinc material, coated material. Tumbler is a reference to the type of system that allows the key to operate the cylinder. It's a tumbler system where there are, it's a reference to the plates inside of the inner working of the cylinder. Doesn't really matter, but that's where that word is coming from. It's a reference to the internal parts here. The flat tumblers along with the springs are all installed in such a way that the keys will operate. Cam lock. Something like this is certainly called a cam lock. Okay, this is going to have a nickel finish, zinc material. They say that this is 5/8, and it's going to be a reference to the overall length of the cylinder. Okay, at least the threaded portion, 5/8. You will have this nut that you will use when you are installing it. You're going to have to remove the screw, the washer, the tailpiece, and then the limiting plate that's on the back. And one thing that I want to just caution you about immediately is that when you remove all of that, you've got to control the cylinder plug. Don't remove your thumb from it, or it will come out. And you will run the significant possibility of the tumblers and their springs coming out. And then at that point, you probably will lose some of the parts because they're so tiny. And then if you reassemble them, it's unlikely that they're going to work again. You've got to control that completely. Don't let it fall out. So before we remove that, you're going to get two tail pieces, and we're going to go over the dimensional properties. You'll get two limiting plates. One that looks like this, the other is buried underneath here, and I'll show it to you in a moment. You will get the plate that will mount to the back side if you're doing something that's wood-based, this anti-rotational plate with these prongs that will bite into the back side of the wood. It's unlikely this is going into wood, however, because after you get the nut installed, you're really going to have a maximum material thickness of about 1/2 inch. So unless you're installing this something that's 1/2 inch or smaller, it's probably not going to be what you want. Then you'll have a trim ring. The trim ring is going to look like that. May or may not be appropriate for what you're doing. Doesn't fit very elegantly down over the underside of the head, but for the cost, it's a fantastic sort of scenario. Two keys are going to work it. So we've gone over all the parts. Let's control with the thumb the face of that plug, and then let's take our screwdriver and remove the screw. You're going to have the screw that will come off, okay, along with the flat washer, your tailpiece, pardon me, your cam, or your tailpiece, then that limiting plate. Got that controlled. We don't want that to fall out. What I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to put this down so that it literally cannot fall out on the edge of my desk. I'm going to put that aside. Now the two limiting plates, these flat discs, you're going to notice that one is rounded 180 degree, the other is rounded only 90 degree. That is a reference to, on the back side of the cylinder, you've got this small notch. That notch is what's going to hit the shoulder, here, or on the 180 degree, there or there. When you install one of these limiting plates onto the back, you can get the concept that you can rotate that the 180 degree, obviously 180 degree, okay? Or you can rotate it, you can install it so that this will actually install it so that it will rotate 180 degree either way. You can remove the key cylinder in any of those positions, either of those positions. And as a matter of fact, you can also remove it at the 0 degree as well. So you can install this to where your tailpiece will go this way, you can remove the key, back to center and remove the key, back this way and remove the key. Or you can install the 90-degree only plate. And you can set how it's going to turn, the orientation of the tailpiece. You can have its starting point and where you want it to end. So you can have it work through that quadrant, and so on, just simply depending on where you place it on the back side. Again, the key is you have to keep that closed down. You don't want to dare lose any of the parts that are in there. It'll do you no good at that point. So again, I'm going to put this down on the desktop. You've got your two limiting plates and the notch on the back side of the cylinder that will limit it. You've got the nut that I spoke about earlier, the bezel, your wood anti-turn plate that will go onto generally the back side of the cylinder is where you will see this installed. Like this. So what happens is when this is installed and it's tightened down, those prongs will fit when you tighten everything down. And these two holes there would be for screws that you might provide. They're not included. And will just help prevent this from rotating because of these flat sides on the side of the cylinder and obviously the flat sides on the plate. Okay, so we've got then of course the screw and the flat washer. Then of course our two tail pieces. One is flat. Let's go over the dimensional properties, and one is offset. The center line to the edge of this tailpiece is 2 inch, and it's just flat. It's going to be about 9/16 wide. Then you're going to have the offset tailpiece or cam, about 1 3/16 inches. You can install it this way on the back of the cylinder should it make sense, or this way, however it works for you. That offset's going to be about 5/16 of an inch. Okay, again the same width, about 9/16. So when the cylinder comes, it's going to have on the back side of it the long, flat tailpiece installed, or cams, and it will have the 90-degree rotation limiting plate installed. So I'm going to put it back the way that it came from the factory. Got my 90-degree plate on the back there. Then, of course, my tailpiece, my cam. Just going to hold that. Then I'm going to add my washer and my nut, my bolt, I should say. Then, when you get all this installed, your cylinder will be captive, and there's no fear of it actually coming out of your installation. Now the only thing I didn't do obviously was put the nut back on, but the fact of the matter is this will all have to come off at 90-degree rotation. I can remove the key either way. It's important to know that you can remove the key either way because that doesn't work in all scenarios. You might have an application that well, shoot, a mailbox. You would never want to leave that unlocked is the bottom line. And if you have need for a cylinder that will operate where you can remove the key only in one orientation, reach out to us and we'll help you find cylinders like that. So the rest of the extended description down below, nickel finish, zinc, 5/8 length for apartment style mailboxes. Hopefully my description of the cams will allow you to determine if this will work for your application. 90-degree open cam turn also includes that 180-degree plate, adjustable thumb nut, 2 cams and 2 keys. They're all keyed alike, so keep that in mind. If you were to buy 1 or 100, they're all going to have the same key. That may or may not work for you. If you need keyed alike cylinders, then you're in good shape. Not a problem. Now, the name Ultra is synonymous with many things high-quality builders, hardware-related. There's a link below this video to the manufacturer's page where you can review not only all of the Ultra products that we sell, but a link to the manufacturer's website, along with a link to the full product catalog. If you have any questions on the Ultra hardware number 43807, zinc disc tumbler cam lock, or any other Ultra product, please feel free to reach out to us. Thank you.